In this lesson, we're talking about healthy and respectful relationships online. So after you've gone through those 5 scenarios that were presented, we're going to just look at a few other points about online relationships. So this is all based on a lesson from a company called Media Smarts. So you could find them on the internet. They have lots of other resources, mostly teacher resources. In the lesson, they ask the question, why do we sometimes do things we know are wrong? There's a lot of different reasons. We know ultimately it comes down to the sin nature, right? Which they don't address in this lesson. But it's because we are sinful people. That's really why we do things that are wrong. They suggest that sometimes it's due to hot emotions such as anger, fear, excitement, frustration, and jealousy. And sometimes digital media gives us a sense of distance, and we don't feel empathy as much as we normally would with people who are face to face. And it can be difficult to interpret feelings and emotions without those nonverbal cues. I know there have been a number of times I've been on social media and I have said something and it's been taken extremely the wrong way. People have thought that I was being judgmental or I was being rude when really I wasn't. That was not my intent at all. And so it's really important to understand how you come across and to word things very carefully when we're on social media. Can you think of other reasons why we do things that we know are wrong? Pause the video and discuss it for just a bit. So in the lesson, they talk about 2 basic types of unhealthy online relationships. One is abuse. Relationship abuse is when someone hurts, insults, or scares someone they're close to, tries to control what they do, pressures them to do things they don't want to do, or tries to keep them away from their friends and family. And you can see the list there of some of the ways that relationship abuse can happen online. And again, you can pause the video and look at these and think those through. Abuse is never okay, whether it's online, whether it's in person, no matter how it happens, it's not okay. There is no reason you should put up with abuse for yourself, either now or in the future, or be abusing someone else. That's not God's will for us. He wants us to have healthy relationships. And so if you're in a relationship that is unhealthy, then please reach out and get help. And I'll talk more about that as we go through these slides. Another type of unhealthy online relationship is exploitation. So some people use digital media to get teenage girls or boys, and not only teenage, older and younger too, but to get people involved in relationships that they're not ready for. So they do this by targeting girls and boys that they think are vulnerable. When they find a target, they shower them with attention, sympathy, affection, and kindness to persuade them that they love and understand them. Remember that no one will love you as much as the people you are personally, physically connected to. No one in an online relationship will love you as much as your parents, your family, and the people who are around you. Keep that in mind throughout your life. So here's some facts about unhealthy online relationships. It's not just romantic relationships that can be unhealthy. Often when we think about relationships as we get older, we're thinking about the romantic relationships. But we can have unhealthy relationships with friends, siblings, classmates, and other people we spend time with too. And we talked about healthy and unhealthy relationships in the last few lessons. Boys and girls are both at risk for abusive online relationships, so don't think that the problem is limited to whether you're a boy or a girl, because both can be at risk. And I've heard stories going both ways. Sometimes both people in a relationship do things that are abusive. But just because an abusive relationship goes both ways doesn't mean you're not a victim. And being a victim doesn't make it okay to abuse someone else. When we're mad at a friend or a partner, it can be normal to want to hurt them. We want to make them pay for the pain that they've caused. But that's not Jesus's way, right? And that's exactly when you need to exercise self-control. So if you're feeling angry or scared or nervous, then just get offline for a while. Take some time to think through your response before you do something you might regret. And if you're thinking of hurting someone, if it's someone who you know in person, it's always better to approach them in person rather than to respond online. And you can see at the end there I put the WWJD, what would Jesus do? It's not just about self-control, but it's also thinking through, how does God want me to respond in this situation? And that can sometimes be really hard to do when we've been hurt, but that's what He wants us to do. And it gives us a chance to get a closer relationship with God and with others too. But what about friends and bystanders? It might not be you that's in an unhealthy relationship, but you might know someone else who is. It might be a sibling or it might be a friend. Here's some tips to help you. So if you think a friend is getting involved in an unhealthy relationship, either as a victim, an abuser, or both, talk to them about it. Say what you see happening. Be blunt with them. Let them know what you're seeing and let them know that you want the best for them. But if that doesn't help, talk to their parents or a teacher or maybe a youth leader, youth pastor, or another adult that you trust. And then don't be part of the abuse by forwarding or sharing any embarrassing or sexual material that's being spread around. That can happen. And remember that things that are put out on social media, whatever goes out on the internet, it doesn't disappear, ever. And if you put a picture out there, then someone can take it and use it in a way that you would not want them to. So be careful about what you put on social media or on the internet in general, and be careful how you use other people's pictures. And then lastly here it says, call people out when they say or do things that make it seem like relationship abuse is okay, or like someone may have deserved to be a victim. No one deserves to be a victim, right? Being made in God's image means we all have inherent worth, and we all need to see that worth in other people. And sending someone a private photo does not mean it's okay to share or spread it. Just a short story from my background. When I first got on Facebook, I was living far away from friends that I had known in high school and in college and university. And at that time, I already had children too, so kind of tells you how long ago it was. And so I had a few friends saying, oh, I'm so excited. Now we'll get to see pictures of your cute boys and all of this. And my response was, if you want to see pictures of my boys, I will send them to you in an email. I will not post them on Facebook. Since then, I have posted a few pictures of my boys on Facebook, but not a lot, because putting them out there in the public space is like posting your photograph on a bulletin board in a public space. Anyone can take that photo and do whatever they want with it. You have no control once you put it out there. So I'm very careful about what pictures I post on social media and how they are able to be accessed to. So just remember that sending someone a private photo does not mean it's okay to share or spread it. You shouldn't have to say, don't share this with anyone else, because the photo is meant for the person it's sent to, right? Lastly, if you're in an unhealthy relationship, whether it's abusive or exploitative, get help. You know that you have friends around you right now in the classroom who care about you and who want the best for you. Talk to friends, parents, teachers, or other adults you can trust. And if someone has threatened you physically, either online or offline, then you need to contact the police. That's really the right thing to do. I know that sounds scary, but it is what needs to happen. But if you're being abusive to someone, then you can get help too. A lot of people who abuse others can learn ways to control their anger and have healthier relationships. There's courses and counselors who specialize in that. And of course, God's specialty is healing and changing human hearts, right? If there's nobody you can or want to talk to in person, you can call a helpline like the Kids Help Phone or visit their website. Now, you probably have people who you can talk to in person, but sometimes it might happen that you just don't know who to talk to, and the Kids Help Phone can possibly help you even know who to talk to for help. Don't make excuses for an abusive person because he or she isn't like that all the time. And don't make excuses for things that you or someone else does because it only happens sometimes, or because everybody does it. Just because everybody does, which is a lie, but just because we say that, it doesn't mean it's not abuse. And don't blame yourself for things that you may have done, like giving someone your password or letting them have access to embarrassing photos of you. There is nothing you can do that give someone the right to abuse you. So strive to keep your relationships healthy, both online and offline. And remember, the best thing that we can do is take it to God, right? Pray about it, whether you're the one who's in the relationship or you're seeing someone who's in the relationship. God cares and He wants the best for us. And so taking it to Him, He will help us to find a solution when we have these issues.